Hey, what's going on everybody? BitVersandy here, and today I want to talk about how the Bit Heroes community feels about the game over the past year. Basically, if you guys don't know, let me just pull up Discord. Exactly 1 year ago, March 6th, 2024, they had announced, a new era for Bit Heroes Quest, basically the announcing of lore events. I won't read through the whole announcement, but if I were to just summarize it, basically, lore events were going to be a fresh way to experience the Bit Heroes world with new PvE and PvP game modes and challenges, community-driven objectives, and an ongoing story. But here we are, exactly 1 year later, and there has been no news. I made a YouTube post trying to gather how people felt over the past year, and I'll read that post out now. 1 year later, where are lore events? Exactly 1 year ago, and now it's today, the Bit Heroes team announced a new era of content, lore events, a fresh way to experience the game's world with new PvE and PvP challenges, community-driven objectives, and an ongoing story. But here we are, March 2025, and we've heard nothing. No updates, no releases, and no answers to the many player questions over the past year. Meanwhile, many veteran players and friends of mine have left, and confidence in the game has taken some major hits, especially after the cancellation of the level 1000 cosmetic program that so many people loved. So, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about Bit Heroes over the past year? What kept you playing? Or, if you quit, what pushed you away? What do you want to see from the team moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'll be reading through them and discussing them in an upcoming video. Let's talk about where Bit Heroes stands today. Talisman says, "The community brought me in, and the community keeps me here. You are all great people." Rosie said, "Speaking from my mostly free-to-play perspective, there is still stuff for me to pursue. I haven't gotten to tier 21 yet. I think the fact that I have goals beyond current tier, such as getting all of the ancients to tier 21, give me things to look forward to." Mr. Gray had a lot to say, but just to touch on one of the points here, what has kept him playing recently is the lack of things he has farmed. And basically right here he says, "After I complete one thing, I add another to my list, keeping me interested and grinding away." These are just a few of the comments talking about why people are still playing. I think a huge reason, and it was brought up in a few of the comments, is community and guilds. Many players, even some of the frustrated ones, say that the friendships they've made in Bit Heroes and the guilds that they've formed keep them engaged. Another reason people still play is long-term goals. For many people, the grind is still enjoyable. Most people don't have all the ancients. Most people don't have all the cosmetics. Most people don't have every familiar. And some of these grinds are motivation enough. Handfuls of comments also talked about the multitasking appeal. People treat Bit Heroes as a side game while doing other things. I know I play that way. So that was some of the good and why people still play. Now I want to move on to some of the bad, some of the struggles and frustrations. Here's one from Armando Play 7416, aka Avadom, who says, "Even though the game has vast content, when you are done, then what?" Avadom also brings up that they've been looking up to many of the players who have quit, such as Zombie Slayer. It was their goal to achieve and eventually one day stand close beside them, but he's, retired or quit now, so they lost a major goal. Here's a comment from William Porygon. They quit back when the tier 2 gem leaderboard was removed. They returned out of boredom and missing their guildmates. I did read this, William, and basically he does say, he quit, returned to the game, found that not much has changed. There's still the same bugs, same issues, and no fresh content. Here's a comment from Anonibit, which some of you might have seen some of his videos. And he goes on to mention, "Many basic things needed to be fixed. These have been stopped for a whole year, and they haven't done anything. Not the lore, nor the basics. As long as people clap, things will stay as they are." He continues to own his own guild, and doesn't feel like he wants to give up at any time, but it's getting difficult to find what to do within the game. Here's Arcane. You might have seen some of his videos too. His is short and sweet. Those guys are brain dead. They have no idea what they're doing. Here's a reply from Vant. He no longer plays the game the way he used to. He has quit on all of his alts and just maintains his main hero right now. He'd like to see quality of life improvements or small additions, and also wishes to see some new content. One day he's hoping for tier 22, and the next he wants the game to die. Then it's right back to loving the game the next day. He describes it as a toxic relationship. Basically, I won't go through every comment about the bad, but there's a lot of struggle and frustration. And a lot of what I saw was talk about lack of updates and broken promises. Lore events were hyped, but never came. And we still have no updates a whole 365 days later. Tier 22? Who knows? There's technical issues. Bugs that have been happening for years are still here. People are still waiting at their 13% loading screen. People are still having revive issues with Scramble Egg build and PvP. People are still unable to use the GVG armory. And these are just a few that come to the top of my mind. Poor communication. Players are left in the dark. If content is delayed, just tell us. And also endgame stagnation. Once you do hit tier 21, what is left for you to go out and beat? You've conquered every challenge in Bit Heroes, just waiting for that next challenge to arise. We see veteran players leaving due to this. We see a lot of new players being discouraged because they know they'll run into this. And these are just some of the frustrations that were shared with me in the comments. Now we've talked about some of the good, some of the bad. I want to cover on what people want to see in the future. Here's a comment from B who says they'd like to see permanent new content and a rerun button on every game mode, even the ones without it. Here's one of the replies from Sora, who mentioned that there's been declining communication from the team, and that the game thrives on updates and player engagement. First and foremost, they need better communication in the future. Even if lore events have been stalled, the team owes players an update. Transparency would go a long way in restoring trust. Here's a reply from Super Cohelonius, who says Bit Heroes needs a lot more work than just a start and next reskin every few months. Overall, some of the most popular things I'm hearing from what people want to see, first and foremost, any new content. Even if it's small stuff like quality of life changes. Adding a rerun button to World Boss, GVG, PvP, Trial, Gauntlet would be pretty nice. Fixing bugs, all that kind of stuff. I think the biggest one for me has to be better communication from the devs. I literally searched on Discord for all mentions of lore events in the announcements, and it's the one single announcement was the very first announcement from a full year ago. We are left in complete darkness as to what to expect besides that initial announcement. Some of the comments also mentioned a roadmap. Even if it doesn't have exact dates, players just want to know what is coming. And those are just some of the top things that people want to see in Bit Heroes. So I want to go over now my thoughts and conclusion. The biggest takeaways I think I saw in the comments and replies I got over the last 24 hours was that the community really is the heart of this game. And the community has been left in the dark. There's been a lack of updates, a lack of communication, and that's a big issue. Players really love Bit Heroes, including myself, and we believe in the game, but many people are running out of patience. The community is shrinking one Bit Hero at a time, and it's only a matter of time before the community is no longer strong. My personal stance, you guys know I love Bit Heroes, but I am frustrated with a lot of the issues that I brought up today. I really hope that the devs listen, because there's still a passionate player base here. And at the end of the day, we all just want a great game to chill out and play. If you guys want to add to the conversation, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below and tell us where do you stand on these issues in Bit Heroes. Here's to hoping the lore events don't take another year. And maybe someday we'll see tier 22 after all. Before I wrap up here, I want to take a second to thank all of my current channel members, Twitch subscribers, as well as my current stream boss, Jason Baker. Thank you so much for supporting on stream. That's all for this one, guys. Until next time, take care, and good luck with your grind.